We looking good or what? I never know how to start these videos. This is gonna be a tutorial. This is not a vlog. This a tutorial
Type shit, this is a tutorial.
on how I want you to travel Southeast Asia as I did. I returned from a 3-month trip in Southeast Asia. I did Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. I traveled what's called the Banana Pancake Trail, which is basically you do north of Thailand, through Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, and then finish off with Thai islands. So I would say that if you're considering doing something like that, it can be done in 2 months, but you are going to be rushing it. I think the 3-month mark is where you get a slower pace where you can chill about traveling, but also experience enough of the countries that you want to visit. I'll section this video off in first everything you need to know about preparing and just general tips about all of the countries, and then I want to go through each country and give you some specific tips, the places that I've been in, how long you want to stay in each place, and also which hostels I stayed in and which places maybe you should avoid, stuff like that. I want to start with the preparation phase. This is something that I felt I did not plan enough time for, because at the end of it I was just rushing. Good thing I'm taking a gap year, but if I was working as well at the time, which I was, but I still had a period before where I could just plan everything. Do plan to have more time to plan the trip, basically. Unless you're very okay with like being like there and just walking around the cities and just figuring out which places you want to go there. But I think not a lot of people are like that. I think you can be, because unlike Europe, it is easier to book stuff the day before in Asia, but I would not do that. So there are certain things that need a lot longer than you might expect. For me, that was vaccines. I had to get some vaccines. I was very lucky that I still got all the vaccines that I needed, but there were some that I already had from my previous travel that I would have needed to have more doses, and it would have been like a few months in advance that I would have to have done it. So have that in mind. Check that first thing, honestly. Then check what kind of travel insurance you have, and if you don't, get one. I just filed for like 300 euros worth of medical bills, which is not that much, but it could have been a lot more. You can't expect what's gonna happen there, so I think that's so good to just be without stress when you're traveling. That, and then also get your international driving license. Now, a lot of people did not have it and were fine, because there's a lot of bribing that goes around there, but I think I am happy that I paid like 50 bucks just to have that safety. And also, I'm just kind of firing these tips. If you can, get an actual motorbike license. I cannot stress how many just freakishly amazing and beautiful places there were that were just the perfect combination for a road trip. I did road trips, motorbikes slash mopeds that I bought there, but had I been prepared or known, I would have probably, and I will now, but get a motorbike license for the road trips there especially. Another thing is to figure out how you are gonna get cash there. I had my parents basically wire me my money that I left at home, because I didn't want to have all of the money already in my account if it got like stolen or hacked or something would happen. So I was kind of living off of like 500 euros. And then when I got close to 100, I would say, could you wire me the money? And they would just take the cash at home. Yo, this is legal, all right? This is not I ain't exposing shit, right? But that's a great way to kind of be extra safer. On the note of banks, I would get an additional physical credit card. I got my card swallowed by one of the ATMs in Vietnam and could have been horrible. It took like an hour to get it back, but it ended up safe in my hands, but it could have been worse. So just having that safety option, really great. Another thing that on the safe side is get an additional phone, like a backup phone for you. Thank God I heard this tip before I went, because my screen kind of broke and it doesn't look that horrible here, but it just looks like it's about to like crack open and just stop working, especially like in the humid areas, you know what I'm saying? So I got this older phone to come with. And another thing that I didn't think of is not just have it, but also have it ready. Have stuff installed there, have your bank app or whatever you use, and Instagram, a way to message people. Get that ready, because I thought about it, which is like, if I lost my phone or something happened to my phone, I really don't remember any password and I would not be able to use the additional backup phone. So what's the point? Have that ready. Let me think, bro. As far as apps go, the only two apps that you really need is Grab, which is basically the Uber of Southeast Asia, and One to Go Asia, which also works online, but just get the app. In Laos, they don't have Grab, but they have Loca. I wouldn't worry about that. I'll get into that later. Those are really the two apps, and maybe download Google Maps. Have that ready, and also download Google Translate languages, because you can download stuff before. So have like Vietnamese, Lao, Khmer, or Cambodian and Thai ready. So because I use that a lot. You'd be surprised how much they don't speak English. Another culture shock that I want to point out here is, I think it's better to explain it with how I did it. I arrived in Bangkok, and for the first 4 days of how long I was in Bangkok, I did not dare to eat anything there that was not like 7-Eleven Toasties or McDonald's. And as ashamed a little bit as I am to admit this, I don't think I'm the only one, because it's such a culture shock of the type of restaurants that are there, the type of like street food that is there that you're just not used to in Europe or America or wherever you're from. And I am very thankful that I met this American dude that got me to eat at my first like street food type of mom and dad place. I was just scared of getting food poison and stuff. I cannot stress this enough. Like, as soon as you land, the challenge is find the dirtiest looking restaurant you can and eat there to get rid of the fear. Because I, fortunately, did not, knock on wood, but I did not get food poisoning. Having the experience of experiencing local food is worth getting food poisoned. This is a hear me out. The same way as snorkeling is, I think, still worth getting an ear infection, which I did. Oh, another thing, I don't know how to phrase this, but if you're doing the same trip as I am in the same time period, what is gonna be the most common type of clothing that you need is just shorts and a t-shirt, because it's gonna be hella hot in all the places except the north of Vietnam. When it comes to packing, have that mentality that you can always buy clothes there for very cheap. I bought like about $20 worth of clothes there just for the north of Vietnam, and that was all I needed, and I got rid of a lot of them when I got out of the north, and that just kind of helps you free up so much space in your backpack. Another thing for packing, I always do this, like the first interrail trip that I had, I packed so much, and in the end I was like, when I came back, I was like, I did not need to pack this much. And then I packed less for this trip, And still I was like, I did not need to pack this much. Not just because you don't actually need it, you can always buy stuff there. The only stuff that you really need is stuff that you can buy there, which is medication, certain medication, and for me, lenses. A lot of breath there. Ask yourself if you're the type of person that likes to shop for a piece of clothes when you're traveling. So I know I am that type of person that doesn't really buy souvenirs, but likes to get a t-shirt from fucking Vietnam. If you're that type of person, know to pack less because you're gonna buy additional stuff, or bring the stuff that you are okay letting go. Oh, and another thing before I get into specific countries is I decided to kind of vlog this trip. So I was very conscious of trying to take as many videos and photos as I can. And yet still, I think I should have just taken a lot more pictures and a lot more videos, especially when you're like hanging out with the people that you've met there. Because this, not the sad reality is, but when you're solo traveling, you don't have that, oh, remember when moments with anyone but yourself and the people that you met along the way, which are probably in another country, right? Regarding SIM cards, I decided to go with buying SIM cards there, physical SIM cards. I think that's cool because you get a lot more data for a lot cheaper is what I think. I mean, I could be wrong here. But that does mean that when you're transitioning from one country, you're not going to be connected to the world when you get to the other country. So that meant that I was stranded in freaking Cambodia in this small, like, abandoned place at 10 at night. Just trying to get a place that has SIM card. I would not recommend that. So get an eSIM for the transitioning days. And I know that you might go, yeah, I'll figure that out. Cause I was the same, but it's really like it can be fucking a lot of work if you don't fix that. How to choose hostels and how to choose the mood that you're gonna be in advance. So that means like, should you go for party hostels or not? Unless you're a full-on degenerate, well, not that's not nice to say, but if you really are into partying, then go for party hostels. If you do want to go out a few times, but that's not really what you're there for, do not. Because I felt like you can always find people to party with in normal social hostels, but you can't get the peace and quiet in party hostels. So I would always opt for that because you can always find people to go out with, but you can never sleep at a party hostel. So this is like Mad Monkey Revolution type of hostels. I mean, if you've done any research, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, these are just party hostels. Just know that, like, for me personally, the south of Thailand was just party. Well, not that I did it, but that's why I didn't like it that much, because it was just party. That's what I felt, and I know that I'm, biased, and people are gonna say, no, there's so much more to do, but that's what I felt. Just have that in mind. Let's do Thailand first. So, like I said, I did the north first, and then I ended up getting into the south of Thailand. I think it's a great place to start your trip because it's very touristy and very developed, so the culture shock is not going to be that great. A lot of people don't like Bangkok, but because it's overwhelming. Yes, I really loved it. I mean, if I could, I would stay there honestly for a week. If you think that the hectic hustle and bustle of the city is gonna kind of be annoying to you, then I would stay for like at least 3 days. Honestly, I feel like it's such a great place to be, especially when it's their new year. So it's Songkran, and basically all of the streets throughout the whole of Thailand, but especially in Bangkok, they fill up with people with water guns, just like a water fight for like a week almost, and it's really, really nice. I remember being in a taxi. The guy pulled up to a red light, got his gun ready, and then sprinkled another guy in a tuk-tuk, and it was just such an amazing time. I feel like a lot of people should see the beauty of Bangkok. I mean, a lot of people don't like it, but a lot of people also stay in this like Koh San Road party area, and it can be overwhelming. But stay maybe in the Siam area, or for me, the Sukhumvit area was really nice. And also stay along the subway, whatever it is, the train station lines, because it's such an easy and cheap way to go around the whole of Bangkok, because the place is freaking huge. Then I would take a bus up north to Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is a really chill place to be. I feel like it's like very digital nomad type of place. The hostel I was staying in was the bougiest, like just the fanciest hostel ever. It was called the Kun Luang Hostel. If you don't choose this hostel, which was like, I don't know, kind of pricey, but I think around 20 bucks a night. Stay in the old quarter part of Chiang Mai, because that's basically where everything is. And I would stay in Chiang Mai for maybe 3 to 4 days if you're doing 3 months. For all the dates, I'm gonna just assume that you're doing the same as me. Stay longer if you like chill stuff, but along with there's this water park that I didn't get to go to because I didn't know about it. There's just this massive water park in Chiang Mai. There are elephant sanctuaries that I really loved. A lot of them are there. Other than that, and the temples, obviously, there isn't that much to do, I feel like. I don't think it's very activity based city, but still loved it. For me, what was great was I really got into photography there. So my routine was basically do street photography at night, and then the next day go to a cafe and color grade the photos. I loved that. I did that. I don't know. I think I was there almost for 5 days, but I really loved my time. And if you do go to Chiang Mai, there's this place called the Blooming Moon Hostel, which is really nice. I don't know hostel wise, but it has a cafe and it's such a chill place to stay. Then I went to Pai. It's about like a 4 hour van ride, which is just turns. So if your stomach is not the greatest, maybe pop a pill. Maybe pop a seasickness pill or whatever. I don't know what you guys use, bro, but and pie was amazing. I stayed there for about a week, and I feel like it can be a hit and a miss. It's a great hub for partying, great hub for the way it's placed for road trips. I took a 2 day road trip with a Norwegian guy I met to a small village, small like Chinese-ish village, and it was Chinese New Year, at the border of Myanmar. I cannot tell you, this was the most beautiful place I've ever been, especially because it was New Year and it was like around a lake, and there's also this cave. There's so many, and just driving around Pai is just so beautiful. It can also be party, mushrooms, weed, if you're into that. I will go on record. I did not participate in this for my future employer. But yeah, it's kind of like it has a hippie vibe, but I feel like it's just for me, what I loved about it was just the way it was positioned, the type of music it played. But I feel like this was one of the places that if you don't find company, it can be very lonely, because it's such a small town that you kind of get to see the same people all the time. So it can be a little bit lonely, I guess, if you don't make friends. So decide on that as you may. Then I went from Pai to Laos, to the border of Laos. Make sure to pre-book that stuff from Pi a lot, well, not a lot, but a few days in advance, because it's not that standard of a connection. So what ended up happening to me was I wanted to book it 1 day in advance, and I had to pay like 3 times as much because they just don't have that many connections. And I had to be in Laos to do the slow boat. Just have that in mind. And then we do the whole loop, end up in south of Thailand. For the south of Thailand, I did, oh, by the way, for Pai, I stayed in an overall one of the greatest hostels ever. The location, the cleanness, and the way it's built. It has a pool and the greatest receptionist ever. He was so friendly. Shout out to him. It was Atlas Central. Really nice place, really nice people working there. I would definitely go there. Okay, so now we're in the south of Thailand and we are in the islands. I did Koh Phi Phi. Horrible. For me personally, the way the island is built is basically you have this small chunk in the middle of these two bigger islands. Well, it's the same island, but bigger parts of the island. And it's just like party. That's it. And it's like cramped. And I just could not stand it. I wanted to get off the island immediately. Again, if you're into, parties and stuff, great. But for me, honestly, not worth it. Then I did Koh Samui. I really like Koh Samui. I stayed in Chill Inn hostel. I feel it was not party, but it was very social. Check Samui because there's places that are more party and places that are more like chill. I cannot give you that information because I was only there for 2 days, but it really seemed like not a nice place, and also the beaches were nicer. And then I did Koh Tao. Koh Tao was nice, but was nice because I did scuba diving and because I did Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at Monsoon Gym. Other than that, I mean, the beach wasn't really that great. And there's an area more in the north that is more party. I would not stay there unless you're into party. I stayed there for some fucking reason in Revolution. Definitely would not do that unless you're a fucking, like, somehow you can party every night. Like, my roommates were, I'm not even fucking joking, was this German guy that was like always high as fuck, and this I don't know, Australian girl that was just like, I mean, drunk all the time. And then I remember like waking up at who the fuck calling my? Yeah, I had to do a little bit of a detour there, but new day. I was saying about this girl that was in the hostel, and I remember going to get my scuba certificate. I had to wake up at 6 in the morning. I think even 5:30 because I had to walk there. And I remember her just tweaking out like in front of the door. She was trying to get in and she was like this. And I remember like being like, yo, let me help you with the key, right? I got my key out, and as I see, she doesn't even have her key in her hand. She's just like there, full on tweaking out. I was like, bro, I'm so done with this hostel. And I guess it could be heaven. I mean, the guy that said that I should go to Revolution was like, yo, this is the best party hostel. So, I mean, depends, what you're into. And because I got an ear infection, I also then went to another hostel, which was Tiger House Hostel. It was kind of close in the center. So also very close to the Savage Hostel, which I was staying before. Savage was super bougie, super nice. Yeah, and in Koh Tao, I also did my scuba diving, like I said before, with Nitro. So this is like a half Spanish, half English company, I guess. They do tours that are kind of actually better, like for your a bang for your buck. But basically, most of the dive centers do 5 dives for around 9 grand baht, which is yeah, 220. No, what am I tweaking right now? $272. So for that price, you mostly get 5 dives and like a bigger group. I got 6 dives and like just another person in my group. So it was a lot more kind of tailored towards you. And I don't know, just like very worth it. The instructor was amazing. Laos. This was the least developed countries out of four. So I would not start there. Like I would not start your journey there because I would not survive that culture shock, I don't think. The roads in Laos are not really roads. There's holes everywhere. You really can't drive normally because you have to stop all the time and you have to like go into the other lane and go left and right and you almost crash all the time because everyone's just doing that to avoid the potholes. Just the infrastructure isn't there. The only 7-Eleven, well, okay, that's not, you know, but it is honestly metric to how developed the nation is. But there was only one set, bro. I looked, I that makes me sound like an entitled first world man, which I may be. But from Pai, get to Chiang Kong, which is the bordering town, and do a slow boat cruise to Luang Prabang. And on that note, there are two types of slow boats that you can take there. The private ones, which you pay a little extra, and you get ample space, or the kind of semi-public one where it's not enjoyable. I mean, I heard stories that they were just cramped as sardines. You know, you have fucking cattle literally on the boat, you know, with the people. It was just not enjoyable for the people that didn't splurge a little bit, which is what I heard beforehand. And thank God that I splurged a little bit. Well, not a little bit. It was like 160 USD, which is definitely worth it for the 2 days. I mean, I cannot stress how worth it is. It was, I mean, top five for sure moments there. Then you arrive at Luang Prabang. Luang Prabang, I would say for maybe like 3-ish days. If you really have to like push it, 2 is enough, I would say. And the main thing that I would do here, which I only did on the last day, Big Brother Laos. This is an organization that helps Laos students practice English and also learn it. But basically, you can swing around there and just speak to students, and it really helps them. And also, it was such an eye opening experience for me because I got like an actual conversation with a guy my age. And just kind of, it was like a shock of how, like, how well we have it in Europe and in America. Where, you know, I was talking to him and it was not, you know, he said that he can't go to college because he just can't afford it, and like even getting married you know is so expensive. And when he got super excited when I kind of told him about what I want to do in you know as a job. And but I mean, when I asked him the same question, it was like, you know, his best outcome is to just work at 7-Eleven in Thailand because they pay a lot more. So I mean, that was such a eye-opening experience. Like obviously you know you're privileged and you know that, you know, just having the ability also to travel, you know, as young as I am. And then also in Luang Prabang, they don't do partying. You can't really do partying because of a curfew. So all the people gather at a bowling alley, and basically we went there with the people from the slow boat, and it was just packed full of like young people. That was a cool experience. Yeah, take a train to Vang Vieng. Basically, like the Chinese helped invest in Laos, I guess, and they built these amazing railroads and a train system. So that's really the only comfortable way to travel Laos. I would go to Vang Vieng and I would spend honestly like 4 or maybe even more days there because it's like the most activity packed place. You can do lagoons. There's about like 9 lagoons that you can go to. Along with the lagoons, you can do paragliding, you can do hot air balloons, you can do, there's this water cave. There is also kayaking. Am I pronouncing? This ain't my first language. I'm just gonna say it like Why is it? Why did I make that word? Kayak, bro.
Kayaking. Kayaking. Kayaking.
Kayaking. Why that don't sound right?
Kayaking.
Kayaking. You can do kayaking there. And you can also go to a club if that's I remember that because we went there. I stayed at the Riverside Garden Hostel. It wasn't, it was great, honestly. It was okay. And for Luang Prabang, I stayed at the Jam Hostel. That one was actually nice. Then I went on a little excursion to Nong Kiao for a 2-day, 1-night mountain hike, and you stay there and you sleep in tents. That was really amazing, but uncomfortable. So if you're not into hiking, I would skip it. Then I went to Vientiane, and this is the capital. There is nothing to do in Vientiane. If you can, don't go, but I kind of had to because then I flew into Vietnam. Before I let you go for Laos, just know that they don't really do Grab there, like I said. But what you have to do is basically bargain with tuk-tuk drivers. Because if you go and say, I want to go there, how much? They'll straight up like 10x the price. I mean, I paid the first one and I was like, ain't no way it's that expensive. So I Googled it and then I went into the next tuk-tuk interaction with like, I want to go there. I'll pay you X. And they were like, oh, no. X plus, I don't know, a little bit. I was like, and then we meet in the middle. So that's how you should approach it there. Now Vietnam, baby. This was my favorite country, without a doubt. I flew into Hanoi. Hanoi was great. Unfortunately, I was in the rainy season at the time and also the colder season, but it was still so worth it. Hanoi was amazing, just like walking down the streets. I think it might be the best place in all the cities for night photography. It was just like amazing, really nice, especially like the fogginess and like a little bit of rain. Hanoi, I would stay maybe like 4 days. The food is amazing there. Boom, this is the place you should visit. Yo, I'm thinking in advance because I ain't seen nothing here. Then there are a couple of places that people usually go from Hanoi, which is Sapa, this mountainous place that I didn't go. Halong Bay, I also didn't go because the weather kind of sucked when I was there. Or Halong Bay or Cat Ba, which is under construction right now. So check that out if you're going. Hajang, I did it. And Ninh I also went. So let's start with Hajang. This was top three. Top three for sure. Hajang Loop. Yo, it might be number one. And I was in the shittiest weather ever and it was still number one. Like, I cannot stress, and everyone's gonna say it, how fucking amazing Hajang Loop, the Hajang Loop. It's basically, if you don't know, this motorbike route across the northern part of North Vietnam. The scenery is amazing. I mean, just the vibe is amazing. I was kind of like a little bit like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Because I heard people saying like, oh, it's the best. But also, I heard, it was like in the summer when most people did it. I knew that the weather is gonna be shit, and I still was like, yo, this was fire. So I would go regardless of the weather, honestly. I would go and have a easy rider, which is basically somebody driving the bike, and you get to enjoy the scenery without having to look at the road. I did it with Jasmine, which is a kind of a party organization to do it with. I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't regret it honestly because the group was so large. It was like 70 folks. 70 folks was like 70 people, and they are pushy on the happy water, which is alcohol. They serve it every night, and they go like not one round, but like a couple of rounds. I didn't regret it honestly. As long as I wasn't driving, like I was happy. You know, I would definitely do Hajang. And for the whole of Vietnam, actually, like, I know I said this before, but if you can, get a motorbike license and do like a road trip like that. I'm coming back for that. I know that. Nimba was really nice. Even though it was like misty, it kind of added to the wholeness of the terrain. I would stay there for about 2 days in Hajang for Hajang Loop. A lot of people just take a night bus. I would not do that because you're not going to sleep there. What I did is I stayed in Hajang on the day before I started the loop, and I stayed in Hajang the day after I finished the loop. That way, I mean, especially if you're doing 3 months, you're not going to like be sleepless. Then I took a 24-hour sleeper bus to Hoi An. I think it's only in Vietnam that they have these sleeper buses, but they're freaking amazing, honestly. Like, it's like you get a little capsule. If you have the window seat, you kind of have the window on your side. That shit was banging, honestly. Yeah, then I went to Hoi An. Hoi An is such a freaking nice place. I would stay there 4 days because you can do cooking class. I mean, and also just being there at night is another level. It's so beautiful, man. And you can, I would rent a bike to do rice fields. Before I forget, for the whole of Vietnam, go to TP Bank to withdraw cash because they don't have any commissions. Side tip. And then I met with the friends from the Laos boat trip, and I ended up going back to Hue and Phong Nha, and we did the Hoi An Pass, which is basically you go from Hoi An to Hue, and it was such an amazing road trip. And then Hue is a really nice place. I would take 1 day to do the Imperial City, and then 2 days to just kind of chill around because there's a lot of places to go, and it's a less touristy. I mean, the whole of Vietnam is not super touristy, but and then yeah, we went to Phong Nha. Phong Nha was amazing as well. At the time, the weather was like misty and rainy and stuff. There are these 2 caves that we went to. Also, there is a duck stop there, which is basically this farm that has a bunch of ducks, and you can go there for like hella cheap and just like feed the ducks, and they give you a massage, which is basically like they throw food at your legs and the ducks just come swirling in. I don't think Phong Nha can be done without having a moped. So if you are not gonna drive a moped, have that in mind. For Phong Nha, I would stay there for 3 days. Yeah, like I said, then I went to Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was amazing as well. War Remnants Museum. And then there's also these old buildings that used to be apartments that got turned into cafes, and you can go, there's like a bunch of them. You can just kind of cafe hop around. If you like fashion, there's this place called the New Playground, which has a bunch of these local Vietnamese designers, I guess. Cannot stress this enough. If I only went to one country, Vietnam, 100%, always. Cambodia. The first experience was not great for Cambodia. If you listen to the tips that I'm gonna tell you, you'll be good. But basically, I arrive at 10 at night with no SIM card in Sunukville, which is like an abandoned city almost. The Chinese invested into the city before COVID, got a bunch of casinos to launder money, and through COVID, like half of these projects just kind of fell apart, and you have a bunch of casinos, unfinished buildings, and a bunch of stray dogs there. And I'm walking there, and then all of a sudden, one dog comes barking in. And then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by 5 dogs, just like not barking, like growling at me, like coming in to bite me. If you can, avoid Sinukville. The only reason I went there to Karang or Karang Samluam. If you can, arrive in Sinukville at the port and just stay there. Like, have it be booked when you arrive that you leave in a couple of hours. Then I went to Karang and Karang Samluam. Really nice. I mean, the beaches are stark contrast to those I feel in Thailand, especially in Karang Samluam. I stayed in Wonders in Karang Samluam and Tipsy Turtle in Karang. Wonders, amazing. Stay there as long as you may. Really, you are at the beach and stuff. The only thing that I can say for Korong, get a moped and go to Golden Beach Surf Club. They have this artificial surf thing and it's super affordable. I had so much fun there. It was amazing. Then Phnom Penh, I only stayed there for I guess one night because I wanted to go to the Killing Fields and the S21 Museum. Go there, educate yourself. I mean, you know, it is kind of hard to digest. Then I went to Siem Reap. I would honestly stay there for like 5 days, honestly. I would do 3 days for Angkor Wat. You can get either a 1-day, 3-day, or 7-day pass. One is just not worth it. 1 day is not enough. 3 days is a must. Siem Reap, I stayed at Wonders as well. Really top 3 hostels ever. It has like 3 pools and the restaurant downstairs is like, it has everything. It has sushi, poke bowls, like steaks. I mean everything. Really just an amazing food and affordable food as well. Bro, we're done with all the countries. Let me think of some extra tips for you. This is me from the editor chair. I completely forgot about budget. So you should freeze frame this shot and I'll just show you my budget. This is kind of a budget of somebody that kind of paid attention to budget but was also not going to cut off experiences just to be more budget friendly. You could do it for less, you can do it for more. I feel like I did it in the sweet spot. For the budget though, use the app Travel Spend. Otherwise you're gonna go over budget. I can assure you of that. So before I let you go, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of an encouragement to take that leap. Like, I cannot stress how important it was for me to make this decision and how happy I am with it. It was such a life-changing trip. I learned so much about myself, especially because it was a solo trip. I've never done that before, and I just learned probably more than I ever did in the 18 years of my life. I think I might be pushing it, but I think it's true. And if you do decide to take this type of trip or any type of trip at all, just be open to new experiences. Be open to say yes. Be open to meet new people, talk with locals, risk a bad meal because otherwise you're not gonna get the magical one. A little Bourdain knowledge right there. Just take as many videos and take as many photos as you can because you're not going to remember it when you're going to be 50 and you'll be thanking yourself that you did. And just enjoy it, man. Enjoy every day. Enjoy if the weather's shitty. Enjoy if it rains because I feel like I've said enough, but I cannot stress take that trip. All right. See you in the next one. Please subscribe and like and share and comment because I really want people that are taking this journey to hear this knowledge. I hope I dropped some good shit.